The biggest differences, and the best thing to remember, is that if you're hitting a pitch shot, you're generally in a position where you have more area to carry and less area to roll. So from here we wouldn't get into our pitching setup, which pitching is basically a miniature version of the full swing. Back over there by that windmill, we may get into a pitching setup, or further back. That's a position where we might grab our sand wedge, because then we're going to have more area to carry and less area to roll. So it's important to kind of decipher the two setups. With chipping, the setup, and with anything in golf, the setup is pretty important, okay, so that we can be successful. What I want to talk about is the 3 lefts, which I'm going to give you some teaching manuals there and books. And the 3 lefts is the easiest way to remember your setup when you're hitting a chip shot. Now the first thing besides the 3 lefts is ball position with chipping. A lot of us are always fighting, should I play the ball off my left foot? Should I play it in the center of my stance? Where should I have my hands? Well, with chipping, it's one of the few shots in golf where we're going to play the ball back in our stance. Is everyone right-handed? Or swings right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone here is going to play the ball off our right foot when we set up to hit a chip shot. Okay, so we're going to have that ball positioned back in our stance. Let me actually grab a golf ball here. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have that golf ball positioned off our right foot. Now we get into the 3 lefts. The 3 lefts are, number 1, we want our feet and our shoulders pointed left of our target line. So for example, if I'm chipping to the pin, that's right there, okay? I want my feet and my shoulders to be going left of my target line. My target line is where the club is going to be pointed, where I ultimately want the ball to end up, okay? And the target line can vary sometimes depending on the slant, the break in the green. We can see that this side of the green over here is slightly higher than this side of the green over here. So probably there's a good chance that the golf ball is going to turn to the left after I hit my chip shot. So I'm going to want to line up to the right side of the pin for this shot. But again, my feet and shoulders are going to be open, pointing to the left of my target line. The second left we want to remember is, where should our weight be? Should I have my weight back? Should I be balanced 50-50? For a chip shot, we actually want to have more weight on our left side. We want to lean left, probably have more, 80-20. So we want to get into a position where we're leaning left. You're going to feel a lot more weight on that left foot. And this is crucial because a lot of us tend to transfer our weight when we're chipping, like we do with a full swing. The second we move our weight back to that right foot and come down and through is when we end up hitting behind it, or blading it, or scooping it. A lot of negative things can happen. None of you have probably ever done anything like that, right? You're not familiar with those shots. But those are common things, we get our weight moving around with such a short backswing and finish here. So again, we want to have the majority of our weight on the left side. And the last and third left is we want to have our hands towards our left pocket. So when we get set up into this position, or the butt of the club up here, leaning towards the left pocket. So can you kind of see the position of my hands here, how I have the shaft of the club is in a straight line with my left arm.
I like the left.
It's an easy way to remember it.
To remember it, really.
Exactly. Just think about the 3 lefts every time. And with getting the butt of the club towards your left pocket, basically, the golf club here is an extension of our left arm. So we're getting the shaft of the golf club in a straight line with our left arm. It's putting us in a good position where we're not going to scoop it or blade it, or all those bad things that happen from time to time, okay, when we're chipping. So again, think about the 3 lefts. Everyone has different teaching styles and methods. Tom teaches a little bit different than I do as far as the chipping setup, but ultimately we're trying to get you into the same positions when you set up so that we can be successful, okay? And when we get into our groups here, we're going to hit some chip shots, and Tom and I are going to kind of come around and help you individually, okay? 2 of the the most common things that we see a lot when we're teaching is one we already went over, which is kind of moving our weight around, shifting our weight back, not getting back to the left side. The other is scooping. You know, a lot of us in golf, we try to help the golf ball to go up in the air. A lot of us tend to do this with our full swing as well. We try to kind of fall back and help it, or we try to get a little bit wristy here and do one of these, you know, and blade it. Okay, so that's something, you know, and again, you know, you've all heard this. We want to let the club do the work, right? So we want to keep our hands, keep our wrists out of this shot. The best swing thought I could give you, you know, how often do you take your putter when you're putting and do one of these here, you know, or hit it and fall back? So the best swing thought I could give you for hitting this chip shot is that you're putting with a lofted putter, okay? It's all from the shoulders. It's the pendulum shot, straight back, straight through, just trying to give the grass a haircut, okay? We want to hear that sound at the bottom. And I'll have, you know, Tom talk to you a little bit about his teaching style. And then what we'll do is we'll come around, and number one, before we hit any chip shots, excuse me, we just want to check your grips. Grip is, you know, with anything, number one, most important. And then we'll break in and we'll hit a couple shots. And then we'll have this, you know, tune in to Golf Channel tonight. We'll have this entire session will be on Golf Channel. Oh, yeah. And they'll have it playing in the clubhouse throughout the afternoon. That's it.
Don't hold our breath.
Now, one important thing that we want to take to the course, along with the 3 lefts and the stuff we're talking about with chipping, we want to go through a good pre-shot routine with every shot, okay? A lot of us tend to go through a pre-shot routine on the golf course where we get lined up, we take our time, we maybe visualize the type shot we want to hit, we select the club. On the driving range, we forget about a lot of these things and we hit 27 irons in a row or 20 drives in a row, okay? So taking this into chipping, when I get set up here, okay, and I'm going to hit this chip shot, I want to stand behind the ball and I want to pick out an intermediate target. What I mean by that is something that's right in front of the golf ball that's in line with my target line. Now here, you know, here's a quick question, okay? If I'm going to hit a chip shot to that pin down by Tom there, am I going to line up at the pin or to the right of the pin? To the right of the pin, obviously, because the green's sloping that direction. So what I want to do is I want to pick out an intermediate target, which could be a blemish in the green here, it could be a blemish in the fringe, it could be a broken tee, it could be a piece of burnt grass. When I get up over my shot here, I want to line up my golf club at that intermediate target, which is going to get me lined up to the right of the cup because I'm taking into consideration the break, okay? This makes it easier than trying to line up to something that's 10 yards away or 20 yards away, or when we're hitting a 150-yard shot. So let's go through that pre-shot routine every time, pick out that intermediate target.
How far away should that be, that intermediate
You know,
target?
I use a kind of a gauge of 6 feet in front of the ball or closer.
For your chipping.
What's that?
Is that for your chipping and your other shots?
For everything. Yeah, for everything. I use something that's, you know, close right here. Exactly. Now, just kind of going on to a different example, if I'm hitting a tee shot, I'm going to pick out an intermediate target, but then I have the option where the ball's in my hand and I'm teeing it up. I can line the logo up on the golf ball on the tee where I want to hit it. Okay? So now the fairway's out there. I line up the logo on the tee, the direction I want to hit my tee shot. When I get over the ball here, I've already lined myself up. I line my club face up down that line or down that logo on that golf ball. And then we set our feet parallel to this line. So we set our stance and our shoulders parallel, and you're ready to go. Because the hardest thing over a putt, over a chip, over a tee shot is getting yourself lined up. You know, when you're standing there over it, kind of looking like this and making adjustments and doing this and doing that. So picking out the intermediate target, going through the shot, getting set up, okay? and hit the chip, you know. Take into consideration the slope, that we're hitting it downhill. With our pitching wedge, we've got that 50-50 ratio. I'm chipping downhill, that might turn into 40% carry, 50% or 60% roll. So it changes. We're chipping uphill, we might have more carry, less roll.